Okay, let me just push Instagram live once it hits. You guys, the battleground state of Michigan. Very exciting.
Yeah, it is something. We got a lot of media here, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Michigan is fun because it's a place where people are very passionate about their their politics, I think.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah.
That is true. There's no shortage of conversation, we'll put it that way.
All right. Let's see. All right, here we go. Okay. Welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. Today is our monthly series called Unpopular Real Estate Opinions with Chris Linsell. Chris Linsell is a real estate technology analyst and director of content at large. He specializes in new solutions to old questions, constantly exploring the cutting edge of technology in the real estate space. Chris also has many years of experience as a licensed realtor in the state of Michigan and has worked as a marketer, a digital strategist, and as a trainer for major national brands such as Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Michigan and Coldwell Banker Schmidt Realtors. Chris is currently the director of content with Luxury Presence. He's also an accomplished musician, actor, and speaker. And Chris has engaged with audiences in sizes ranging from 30 to 3,000. He is often speaking at the National NAR convention, as well as Inman and many other conventions all throughout the year. Chris, welcome back to the show.
TJ, thanks for having me. Great to connect. Looking forward to digging into some juicy topics. There's a lot to talk about right now.
Yes, and for anyone that wants to dig into you in particular and see your upcoming events, as
Mhm.
well as maybe even consider having you speak to brokerage association, that those kind of opportunities, go
Mhm.
to chrislinsell.com as the best place to learn all things Chris.
Yeah, that'd be great. And if you are wanting to do a little test drive of little old Crystal and Cell, come over to the National Association of Realtors Conference in Boston. I'll be speaking there. Come check out a session, see how it feels, try it on for size, and then follow up afterwards. I'd love to chat. But let's talk about that another time. Let's get in. DJ, I've been looking forward to talking with you a whole bunch since our last conversation because my team at Luxury Presence recently released our 2024 State of Real Estate Marketing report. This is a comprehensive report that is the result of surveying thousands of real estate professionals from across the country, tirelessly analyzing all of the results that we got back and compiling it together, paired with a whole bunch of our direct insight, industry knowledge, and know-how. And we came up with some pretty surprising results. I was hoping maybe
Yeah,
we could talk about that today.
there are some big swings here, and
Mhm.
or big revelations, and
Yeah.
I'm very excited to bring these. And again, what I love so much about this is and NAR does similar studies every year, and I love learning about what are consumers actually into. And in this case, it'll be sort of what are agents doing right now. And yeah, let's jump in. What did
Yeah.
you guys find?
Well, the first thing that I want to call out as an interesting finding that I think a lot of agents are going to be surprised by is this year, for the first time ever, real estate business websites were ranked as the most important marketing vehicle a real estate professional can have. And this is surprising because guess what has led the way for as many years as I can look back on? It's been social media. If
Yeah.
you aren't using social media to effectively communicate your message, get yourself out to your community, build your brand via the messages that you send, you're missing out. But this year, the business website has crossed the marker as the most important marketing element, marketing tool that a professional can have in their toolkit.
So just to be clear, what we're saying now is in the past. perhaps agents would think of their website as a digital business card. It's
Mhm.
there. If someone Googles me, they'll see me. But I'm really going to show off who I am on social media. I'm going to do videos. I'm going to do a lot of posting. Why do we think that is becoming less important now than the website that
Mhm.
largely websites don't change. They don't typically, if people are updating them consistently with new content, yes, but I think most agents don't do that.
Mhm.
So this is a real big shift for agents to hear.
Yeah, well, I think it's actually twofold. First, what you said earlier was about how business websites haven't really changed or don't really change has been the case for a long time, but in the last year and a half, 2 years or so, this has actually started to shift. I don't wanna speak for anyone other than, my team at Luxury Presence, but I can tell you the capabilities of the business website have really been changing over the last 18 to 24 months. Specific to an experience of an agent who's got Luxury Presence as their website provider, we now offer a substantial lead generation offering that includes AI powered lead nurturing functionality. This is not a CRM functionality. This is a website
This is
functionality.
a front end user
That's
experience
exactly right.
that dynamically changes
That's
uh,
exactly right. The
as
business
to the consumer's need.
That's exactly right. The business website is no longer um, this static collection of pages where Google can find your contact info if somebody Googles you. It's actually a user experience that more and more agents are leaning into. Another case in point, it used to be that the search experience on individual real estate agents' websites just wasn't as good as the search experiences that consumers could get on places like Zillow.
Mhm.
And a part of the reason why that has always been so hard to compete with is that users are trained to search on Zillow. That's where
Yeah,
their first instinct is to search. They are used to that interface, and the traditional IDX update cadence has always been almost without fail fastest on Zillow. So
sure.
if a property hits the market, it's usually Zillow that is the first third party website to pick it up. That again is changing. The search experience, for instance, on Luxury Presence has gotten significantly better. We have reduced our IDX feedback cadence um, dramatically over the last year, such that we are down to IDX updates under an hour in most cases, and in even less in some markets. All this to say, this isn't a commercial for Luxury Presence. I'm obviously an advocate for our products, but we do provide top level real estate business website experience. And so, to this end, it's not a huge surprise to me that agents are starting to treat their website as a dynamic kind of
Yeah.
living and breathing place. But that's only the first reason. I said there's two reasons. The second one is in the wake of the NAR lawsuit settlement coming down, it has become more and more apparent that if agents and brokers want to be successful in the next era of real estate, they need to have a durable, long lasting, brand differentiated business. And it is a difficult thing to establish this differentiation if you're only using social media, because social media has a somewhat of an ephemeral experience to it, especially now that social media trends towards the TikTok style experience of content and media consumption, where posts, videos, the things that you say, the pictures that you take, these things don't last long out in the social media universe. Agents and professionals who are looking to develop a long-lasting, durable brand, they need a place where the media that they create is sticky, where it's going to
Yeah.
remain in a place that they can curate as a specific user experience, and then they can use like prongs like this, the spokes of social media, to reach out from the hub that is the business website and try to reach markets. But we're seeing more and more social media is still important. It's still ranked as the number 2 most important item in a real estate agent's media toolkit. But it is clear now social media is becoming more of a means of funneling traffic, eyeballs, and attention to
Back
the
to the
website,
website. Yeah.
rather than that the end goal being to engage only on social media with our clients.
It's so funny because a few years ago, I always said nobody wants to visit your website, and I thought that the trend was going. Websites were maybe not being as elevated as they are today, but because of the NAR lawsuit, I think it's brought the spotlight back on how do we differentiate ourselves. The website is a place of permanence,
Mhm.
but you also said there's some cool technology coming to allow for the foundation of who we are as agents, what we provide on our website, but with dynamic content opportunities too. So you were talking about social media. This is really cool because yes, you want to get your clients hooked on your social media content,
Mhm.
and you want to drive them back to your website so that they can explore your other offerings. Well, now you can and we've been able to do this for years, but you could integrate your social media, as you said, with your website and
Mhm.
display social media stuff there, because it just sort of evaporates if you don't if you don't park that content
Yep,
anywhere. It's unlikely to be easily found by someone.
it's
So
true.
and there's so much content being created every day that it becomes difficult. So you're
Yep.
right, you're almost creating a library of content,
Mhm.
and you can host. Well, you won't be hosting it on your site necessarily, although you could,
Mhm.
but you could certainly aggregate it all.
Yeah.
And there are lots of tools to do that. And what I'm particularly interested in is this idea of dynamic content for the consumer that visits the agent website. So, for
Mhm.
example, what would be really so I'm a recruiter. So my customer are real estate agents, and of course, there's lots of different real estate agents. There's the brand new agent who just got his license. There's the veteran agent who's been in the business 20 years, and then there's the agent who's in the middle. There's part-time agents. There's lots of different types of agents, investors as well, and those are all different pitches to those particular types of agents. And the frustrating part with way websites are designed today
Mhm.
is that I have to sort of figure out how do I funnel people based on their needs, and it's not easy. And I'm very excited to in the future begin to see how can we begin to integrate this sort of dynamic approach when it's more of an experience. So they go to
Mhm.
the website learns a little bit about the person, and then is able to give them that content,
Mhm.
uh, you know, automatically or via AI. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah. It's interesting. This actually leads into another interesting finding from the report, which is, despite the fact that social media dropped a spot in terms of its overall importance in the toolkit for most real estate professionals, the when we asked agents what the most underrated real estate marketing strategy was, uh, surprisingly, we have found that most agents, their most underrated strategy still remains video.
Yeah.
Meaning, agents know how important this is, but based on how they're prioritizing it, they're not giving it enough oxygen. And most agents who have seen video marketing in action will say, "Oh yeah, I really need to be doing more of this." And social media is a great place to do some of this video marketing, especially if you can link it back to your website. So, for example, um, when I speak to folks who are looking to develop a video strategy for their business, I tell them a couple of things. One, that ephemeral nature of social media that we talked about before, this is fantastic for someone who's just getting started, because it means you have relatively low risk when you
Yeah.
are trying video. The chances are the chances are that most of the media that you make will be seen by some people, but not everyone. It is a rare occasion where things go completely, kind of wacky viral and get seen by every single person in a particular market. Most of the time, it gets seen by a relatively small number of folks, and if they happen to share it with other folks, it might catch fire a little bit. But the reality is, you have very low risk when you are getting into video. So the best thing you can do is just start. And there are a lot of easy ways you can get started. When we asked most agents how they want to get started in video, they said start simple. Want to do virtual property tours. We want to do neighborhood showcases, even client testimonials, even
Yep.
live streaming Q&A. These are all really easy things to get started on. You do not need anything except a phone. You can do most of this stuff in the back of an Uber. You don't even need to have a quiet space to sit and work. This is all really easily executed content. And one of the big sentiments, and I realize this is going to be a little unpopular, but this is the unpopular opinions segment of the show here, so bear with me. One of the unpopular things about video amongst most real estate agents is this idea that they can put out what they might consider substandard or something that
Yeah.
isn't as polished as they
Correct.
expect it to be, and have it still be effective. The reality is, we are living in an era of video where authenticity is more important than production. So video content consistently performs better when it looks like it's filmed by a person and not by a video crew led by Martin Scorsese. So
Right.
if you're worried about this, just know there are real estate agents who are not worried about this, who are getting your eyeballs right now. The attention that you could be getting, they are getting, because they are not concerned about appearing authentic. In fact, they know that appearing authentic is what is going to get them those next level of conversations. If you're waiting for Hollywood production values, this isn't the strategy for you.
And most agents follow other agents on social media, and they're seeing some of these these high production value videos, short form videos, and thinking, well, I don't have that, I can't do that, I don't have the capability or the knowledge or the money to do that. And what you're saying is that's fine, but what the consumer really wants is the content itself. So if you can answer questions that your consumers are looking for, the production value takes a very big backseat
Mhm.
to the actual answer to those questions.
Yeah.
And so, we get kind of primed in our brain because we go on TikTok or Instagram, we scroll and everything looks perfect. And
Mhm.
what we forget to realize is, yeah, aesthetically, it looks perfect, but what are people really wanting when they're buying a home? They're really wanting answers to pretty serious questions.
Mhm.
The aesthetic is just a part of the overall sort of decision, and then
Mhm.
it becomes, okay, I got to ask questions. So for anyone out there who's like, I'm not media trained, I'm not good on video. Okay, nobody's good on video at the beginning,
Mhm.
and Mr. Beast wasn't probably good on video on his first video,
Mhm.
and so you just got to answer questions that are relevant to your audience.
Yep.
Create content that way, and your production value is largely irrelevant.
100%. Now, one thing I want to call out here um, is, we've been talking about how, uh, especially when it comes to video, there isn't a lot of budget or gear or anything required to get started. You got a phone, you can get
Yep.
started. But I do think it's important to point out, and if you download this report, which you can for free, we'll put it in the show notes. You can go get your copy. We'll send it right to your inbox. Easy peasy. One thing that you'll see in this report, in fact, we lead this report with the following. In 2024, 78% of real estate professionals increased their marketing budgets over 2023. Now it's not this stat isn't in the blog that I sent DJ, that we some of the highlights we pulled. We kind of wanted to save some juicy stuff just for the report, but I'll just give you guys a sneak preview. 78% of the agents that we surveyed said that they increased their marketing budget between 2023 and 2024. The average marketing budget across all of the agents that we surveyed was just over $12,000 a year. Now, it is always tricky to look at averages because I guarantee you, I know because I have the raw data, we do have a few agents in here who spend big bucks on stuff. They are marketing many multi-million dollar properties. We do have some agents who literally spent like the cost of their marketing was in the triple digits. That's it.
Yep.
And so it is it's always difficult when you're looking at averages when you have a business that is as diverse as the real estate space is. But the reality is the competitive landscape of real estate right now requires investment in the business if you want to be successful. Now, if you have an alternative path to success, by all means, take that path. But you should know your colleagues, or as I like to call them, your competitors, are spending money to acquire leads, to build their brand, to be a part of the community, to engage in conversations and demonstrate their expertise. Your competitors are out there investing in their business. So if you are looking at your budgets for the remainder of this year, and if you've already started doing planning for 2025, which I've started talking to those early birds who are starting to think about this stuff, no, there is time right now to consider what your investments might be. And in 2024, more than 3/4 of agents increase their investment. So if you are in this decision point, it might be time to be thinking about this.
Great. I know you guys have some interesting information about email marketing. I want to
Yeah,
dive into that because
yeah,
this is a very surprising to me, and I'm super excited to present this to the audience
yeah.
via by way of
Email
luxury presence.
email marketing has been making a surprising comeback in the eyes of the agents that we've surveyed. And I think it's important to point out um, it has made a surprising comeback in terms of sentiment, meaning
Mm.
what if I ask you, how do you feel about the effectiveness of the marketing? Are you excited about this? Do you feel like you get a good return on your investment, whether that investment is money or time or resources otherwise? And yeah, email marketing has made a surprising kind of surge in terms of its net sentiment. Um, what is, I think, even more interesting is if you look at the effectiveness measures of email marketing. We're not talking about sentiment, we're talking about effectiveness. Effectiveness has not changed. It remains an incredibly effective way of reaching clients and prospects, of converting prospects to clients and clients to transactions. It has always been a means of delivering specific messaging to a captive audience. It has only recently become um, a vehicle that agents are becoming more confident in. And we don't have specific data on what I'm about to say, but I just want to share some conjectures. My my guesses for why this is happening are threefold. One, we are seeing more smarter email marketing built into more accessible CRMs in the real estate space. I think email marketing has been something that most CRMs have had relatively base functionality on, and only a couple have advanced functionality. And that advanced functionality is difficult if you're not a super tech friendly person.
Yeah.
I've seen the accessibility of these tools come down. So it's gotten easier to do. Number two, as real estate business websites have gone up, our ability to collect email addresses has gone up such that we have more of these contacts. So now people are doing it more. And three, God, I'm going to get so much crap for this. Everybody talked about how text message marketing was the wave of the future. People hate text message marketing.
Hate it.
Consumers hate it. And I'm not saying that there isn't a time and place for it. In fact, if somebody offered me a all-in-one platform that included SMS marketing as an integrated function, I would absolutely take it. Because even though they hate it, it does still convert some agents. The acceptability level of email marketing amongst consumers is so much higher
Yeah.
than text message marketing. And so I think agents, especially, and I'm not going to get into the whys on this, but especially in a political season when they're getting a ton of unsolicited text messages, um,
Oh, that's
agents
a great point.
agents are leaning into the means of marketing that they respond to. That's just a natural kind of human move, is that you naturally will lean where you feel like you are getting the information and the service that you want. And I think the text message marketing may have had its day in the sun here, and we're going back into email as the reliable standard.
Well, and also too, most businesses, the workers in most businesses in America, when they're reporting things to their company, are doing it via email, right? we
Mhm.
we are still utilizing email as the primary hub of
Yep.
communication in many cases. So it is still I'm glad to see that email has returned,
Mhm.
because I agree there's something inherently maybe too personal about receiving a text message. I don't know why it feels different, but it does feel different to get a,
Mhm.
a text message from someone who you don't know.
Yep.
It doesn't feel friendly. It doesn't feel good. Even with the political candidate stuff, I get those as well, and they do rub me. I mean, if it's something I agree with, maybe it rubs me a little bit the right way, but it still feels like, how'd you get my information?
Mhm.
So I totally understand that. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do away with the automatic text message email, or sorry, the automatic text messaging.
Well,
All
the
right.
funny thing is, and let me just say that uh, I'm not a hater on SMS altogether. I think that there is a place for it. Like, I think about the ways and the reasons I want to get an unsolicited text message. It is things like, "Hey, your table at the restaurant is ready. Come on
Right.
by."
Sure.
That's a reason that I want to get a text message.
Yeah.
How could we trans
Updates. Yeah.
How could we translate that to real estate? Hey, there's a listing in the neighborhood you're really excited about.
Yep.
You should go check it out right now.
Yep.
That is SMS that is extraordinarily functional and effective. I think about things like, um, yes, I want to get an update if my flight is delayed. This is a reason that I want to get an
Yes.
SMS text message. I would also translating that to real estate, if there is a reason that my loan isn't going to be approved at a certain day, and hey, we've got a deadline we've got to reach, and so you got to get this document to us in the next 24 minutes, or we're going to be delayed through the weekend. This is a reason I would like to see SMS. But if you want to just send me just basic marketing in text messages, I mean, people people, I just don't think consumers want that anymore. I think that time has come and gone.
So Chris just said something I think very true and very powerful, which is, stay away from sending messages that are, or rather, what you should send. Think about updates. Send
Mhm,
updates to your clients. Everybody loves an update, whether
mhm,
it's a CMA, whether it's, hey, I just saw this thing and thought of you. Whether it's a home that's listed in the neighborhood or whatever it might be. People love updates because I think it reinforces, wow, my person was thinking about me, and that
mhm.
feels good.
Yep, it's the
All
truth.
right, let's talk about social media.
Mm. Social media. The general sentiment of social media has continued to decline. In fact, we have seen social media obviously get replaced by the business website as the most important marketing channel. Um, I th- the f- it- you know we don't have complete data on all of the whys, But for some of the questions, we were able to follow up with some of the respondents to get some anecdotal kind of interview responses. And most agents who had a slip in sentiment for social media have said that the reasons behind it are usually the cadence is too much. I can't complete this much content. The content that is expected of me is too much. I have other things to do. I'm actually running a business. I'm not just a social media influencer. So that's a big reason. Another reason is there is this feeling of if you are especially early in your career, and even if you're not early in your career, even if you are an established seasoned professional, there is this feeling amongst professionals who are using social media as a communication and marketing tool that you're occasionally shouting down an empty hallway,
Yeah.
that you are continually putting messages out into the universe and getting very little feedback on them. And the reason behind that is that the feedback mechanisms that are in place from social media networks require an active, an active approach from users. So if you want to like, you have to click that button. You have to actually touch it. If you want to comment, you've actually got to write something there. We don't value as professionals, I think probably inappropriately so, we undervalue, or in some cases don't at all value impressions data. We don't value how often content gets seen because it's very difficult to recognize the impact that impressions could have. But for people who are doing, especially a lot of prospecting, impressions are incredibly important because
Mhm.
it's going to take people who don't know you, it's going to take 6, 7, 10, 15 times seeing your face, hearing your message before they are prompted to actually click and reach out. And so, um, what all that boils down to from a lot of real estate professionals is that you ultimately have this channel that you are throwing time and content and energy into. You feel a bit of a slave to the schedule, and your output is occasionally in question. And so we don't have, naturally so, there's a lot of agents who feel like maybe this isn't the channel for me. Maybe this isn't what I want to be doing long term. But I do want to say this isn't all bad news because this has become a relatively this isn't just an isolated opinion. This is a lot of folks who are feeling this way. What we're ultimately seeing is a shift in the real estate content space on social media away from quantity and back towards authenticity and
Mhm.
quality. And I
Yeah.
want to make it totally clear, quality is not synonymous with super high production value. It's just content that is real, content that is true to who you are and what your business is, content that is authentic to the messages that you're trying to send. So we are starting to see a little less adherence to these super rigid 30-day content strategies, post something every single day, twice a day on Sundays, and starting to move back towards emphasizing what are the messages that I want to send and how can I send those messages consistently. And only time will tell how that's actually going to play out.
Yeah, I think we're going to start to see a lot more sharing of experience
Hmm.
versus static post,
Yep.
sold home for X over list. Yay me. Those are great posts, but
Hmm.
I think we're kind of burned out on posts like that.
Yep.
What what I gravitate to is, if I'm going to spend my time on social media, I want it to teach me something or
Hmm.
entertain me, and seeing somebody's uh, billboard essentially about how well they're doing,
Hmm.
it doesn't really scratch that itch for me. I understand why it's there. It's not a bad thing to put that in. I'm not suggesting not to do it, but I'm suggesting that that's not the kind of content I want to engage with. I
Yeah.
want to engage with a like, hey, homeowner, here's an idea that you might not have thought about on
Mhm.
reducing your expense for X.
Mhm.
That's now you got my ears. So if I was an practicing agent, I would start to think about what are my clients asking me, what questions are they asking, where can I provide value, where do I know things that
Mm.
maybe other homeowners don't,
Mhm.
and let's put content out about that. And I really believe that's ultimately the path.
I think you're right. I absolutely think you're right. I am super excited to see where this leads because ultimately I feel like um I feel like there is an inextricable link between things like your business website and your social media. There it is unless you're going the paid route, which by the way, I think a lot of agents should be considering right now. Um uh at least from like considering paid lead generation as an option from places like Meta or from Google. Um, if you're going the organic route, you kind of have to be present in places where people are spending time and having conversations. So social media is far from dead, and there are agents who will make their entire career on social media. It is absolutely still an active and important place to be engaging, but I think the way that we are considering how it fits in the pecking order is starting to change.
So I guess the message for today would be, let's beef up the website to make sure that it's got really our brand, our value, what we provide. Now, as commissions are decoupled, it's more important than ever to be able to demonstrate value,
Mhm,
and really that's your job as an agent, is also to be a knowledge center.
mhm,
So come to my website. Here's what I do. Here's some of my social media content as well. I think that's, and go back to email marketing as well. That's another
mhm.
great suggestion. Chris, this was chock full of amazing just insights. I would love to learn about, where are you speaking anywhere for the between now and the end of the year?
Yes, I absolutely am. Where can you find me? Well, in let's see here, in a few weeks, I'll be at the Raycon event in Edmonton, Alberta, as a featured speaker. In November, I will be on one of the big stages at the NAR conference in Boston. In December, I will be at Triple Play in Atlantic City. So New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania realtors, please come see me. In October, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere in October. I can't recall any place off the top of my head. But for those of you in Central or Western Canada, please come to Alberta. Come see me in Edmonton. Everyone else, I'd love to see you at the National Association of Realtors Conference or New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Come see me at Triple Play. Got a number of exciting things lining up for 2025, but that's where I'll be speaking for 2024. And of course, if you're interested in the things that I'm talking about and the projects I'm working on, would love to come over, have you come over to luxurypresence.com. We have a very large suite of blog content. We publish podcasts and webinars every month. And this isn't just for Luxury Presence customers. We want to engage with anyone who is interested in bettering their business. And if we can be a tool in your toolkit at Luxury Presence to take these strategies and multiply their value, we'd love to be a part of your success.
Amazing. Chris, thank you once again. ChrisLinsell.com is a place where you can learn about all things Chris and his speaking engagements. Also, consider Chris for your next engagement,
Mhm.
maybe an association, a conference, that sort of thing. He has lots to say, and it's usually what I always like about Chris is he seems about 6 months ahead of everybody else. So he's got this. It's almost like he's the oracle at Delphi. He's going to give you the answers a little bit faster and better. So really, he's an amazing resource. We're so lucky to have him on the show. Thank you, Chris, once again on behalf of the audience. On behalf of Chris and myself, we thank the audience too. And we just ask everyone, please tell a friend, think of another agent that's struggling right now in a particular part of their business, send them a link to this episode. We would appreciate that. All right, Chris, we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks, DJ. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.